Willie D. Live.
You being a teacher
Mm-hmm.
and going through like one of the toughest like school districts,
Yeah.
in the whole country. I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm pretty sure you saved somebody because it was a teacher that saved me.
Mm.
You know, Miss Emmett Oliver.
Okay. Shout out to Miss Emmett.
Emma Oliver. I said Emmett.
Okay. Emma Oliver. Okay.
Emma Oliver
Yes, sir.
was my homeroom teacher, my science teacher, and that woman, like she looked after me. I didn't go to her house. She didn't buy me school clothes. She didn't buy me
Right.
school supplies.
On the blind side, huh?
But what she did, she invested in my self-esteem. She invested in my self-esteem. And that's what a lot of these kids need, and that's what a lot of them are missing because you got kids every day, man. They being told that they ain't nothing. Their own mama saying, "I wish I never had you."
Yeah.
So a lot of them don't know who their dad is and things like that. So
a ton. Even the ones that think they know sometimes don't know.
Yeah. What was the worst case of a child going through something you saw while you was teaching in Baltimore?
Oh man. You already got me looking bad out here, bro. Like, this man's crying on camera, this guy. The worst thing I've seen kids go through there? Oh, who knows? There's a lot of stories. I think that I could have wrote a book just about that, which is why I stopped. You know, after I completed the 2 years, that's why I didn't do it again. I think the worst stories were the girls, to be honest with you. Because pretty much the girls had to endure whatever the boys had to endure, including, you know, violence and all this other stuff, plus the additional sexual abuse that is more common to happen to female children. And so I think that was probably the toughest one. And a lot of this stuff there was one situation that, and I write about this in my book, The Black Box, and this was trippy to hear this conversation. What they do is in these resource-deprived schools, they'll hire newbies like me from Teach for America. Now imagine you hire some snot-nosed kid who just got out of Harvard or Yale to deal with black kids in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And then you hire a whole bunch of Filipinos who like are fresh from the Philippines. Shout out to the Filipino people, lovely people, very friendly, very polite, but probably are not going to be well equipped to deal with urban kids in Baltimore. And then you got a couple old black women teaching who have been there since the school opened, and they're the glue that holds that place together. They understand all the dynamics. I remember one time I heard a story, and I almost never went to the teacher's lounge. I went one time and never again. I walked in there, and they're talking about this child. Oh, I remember the worst story. I'm going to tell you right after this. But they're talking about this little girl, and everyone was pretty much saying, like, yeah, we need to report this to whatever the ADFC or CD, Child Protective Services, whoever. We need to report this. And then the old black woman came over and said, for what? And everyone turned to her with horror, including myself. Like, yo, what you want? She was like, for what? So they could put her in a group home and everybody could REPE her? So they could put her in a group home, then she ain't even got one person to look out for her? So they could put her in a group home and people just abuse her left and right? That's what you want to do? Leave that girl as she is. You know, that thing may have happened to her, but she's better off where she is. And that, I was like, ooh. And it made sense to me because my mother used to work at a group home and she would tell me about the abuses that the kids suffered there.